Hello everyone, Blaze here, welcome to another news video. This one's for Discotek. I'm going to be talking about the licenses that they talked about yesterday, as of the recording of this video anyway, and also the ones that they announced way back in, well, about a month ago, so not too long ago, at a panel at Anime Next that was hosted by Mike Toole. He on Discotek's behalf announced a couple of pretty cool things, the first of which was, at least the first of which on Discotek's page anyway on Facebook, is Jungle Emperor Leo. This is for the 1997 film from the franchise, obviously a long-running franchise, one of Tezuka's productions from way back when. There's obviously a 60s series, and then there was the 80s series, and then there's this film. I think there's also been a more modern series or film recently over the last decade or so, but yeah, this one's from 1997, and yeah, it's coming to Blu-ray straight up, which is really awesome. This doesn't actually have a Blu-ray release in Japan, as this person here mentions, Davion, and he was curious about whether there's a HD master. Well, I happen to know that there is. If you go through the dark side of the anime community, I guess, and get into the side of like pirating and all that, there is already a TV rip of this film, as it was broadcast on NHK in Japan in glorious high definition, and it's a pretty decent transfer, nice and grainy. It's a little bit soft, but again, it's just a TV rip, and not true source, so this Blu-ray might look a little bit better in terms of detail and resolution and stuff, but yeah, it's a really solid transfer, so I'm looking forward to this. I already have the movie on DVD. This was previously put out by Media Blasters in America about, well, a number of years ago now, but it does include a dub as well, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, Jungle Emperor Leo. Next up is something really cool. The Blackjack movie is coming out. Just recently I picked up the OVA series, at least the ones that Central Pod Media put out. I think it's like the first 10 episodes of the series, the original run of the series of OVAs. But yeah, I think I mentioned in my anime collection video that I could totally see Blackjack being a license that Discotek eventually get into, and little did I know that, about literally 2 weeks since I made that video, this announcement was made that they are putting out Blackjack the Movie on Blu-ray, which is, yeah, definitely probably the most obvious first step into the Blackjack franchise. But I think this is going to be a franchise that grows and grows from Discotek. I could totally see them putting out the OVAs because they're out in Japan. The only thing that sort of goes against that is the resolution, or not the resolution, the aspect ratio of the OVAs in Japan was cut from 4:3 to 16:9. Maybe Discotek would prefer to do 4:3, but I don't know if Japan would let them, and maybe that would be a stumbling block. But anyway, that doesn't matter, because right now that's all hypotheses or whatever. So yeah, Blackjack the Movie is definitely coming, and this is definitely in the right aspect ratio. This is a theatrical film that came out in 1996, I believe, basically about halfway through the OVA's run. And obviously this is again another Tezuka franchise, and probably his second most famous after Astro Boy, I would say, or at least his second most beloved. And yeah, it's something I've not really stepped into at all, frankly. I've checked out clips of Blackjack stuff multiple times, and I've also watched a series that Made in Japan put out, Ray, which is sort of like a weird side story spin-off in the Blackjack universe. At least it's got Blackjack in it, but he's basically in it for like the grand total of like a couple of minutes throughout the whole series. But yeah, this is really cool that this is coming out again, Blu-ray straight up, straight away, so that's really cool as well. This was previously put out in America by Manga Entertainment, so there is going to be a dub for it, and I was actually trying to track down the Manga Entertainment DVD not too long ago. It's really expensive in America, the movie on DVD from Manga, but it's actually relatively readily available in the UK, so I did have options, but I've now put those on standby, because I wouldn't be surprised if we see this come out before the end of the year. It doesn't seem like it would be a necessarily huge project, and Discotek, for all their great stuff they're putting out, they've been putting it out at such a rate of clicks that they're getting close to not having a huge amount of stuff to put out, and they've also been announcing stuff recently that, you know, basically has they announce a new license and they give it a release date there and then, which has been a common theme just recently as well. So anyway, moving on. So Blackjack the Movie, really, really cool. This is all still Anime Next. Another one was True Tears. This is a more recent series, of course, a more shoujo series. I believe this was PA Works' first ever show, I think. I'm almost certain. And it's cool that it's gotten picked up. It's not dubbed, I don't believe. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Any chance for an English dub this time round? Okay, that kind of confirms it, yeah. It's not dubbed. Yeah, Bandai originally put this out on DVD, I think, and it wasn't dubbed then, and obviously Discotek aren't dubbing it, but they're bringing it back out, which is nice. A series that I'm curious about. I'm not a big fan of the cover they used. I actually prefer the Bandai Entertainment cover, but this is something that I wouldn't mind picking up possibly in the future. Mainly because it's a PA Works show, and I've really enjoyed their stuff so far of what I've seen. I just like their style, I guess, and given this as their first one, it's certainly something I would like to see. I don't know if I necessarily need to own it, so I might make that decision further down the line, but the fact this is coming out from Discotek, I don't expect it to cost too much. So yeah, and I like supporting Discotek as much as I can, and I haven't actually been doing that, actually, frankly. I haven't been supporting them quite as much as I should be, because they're still putting out, there's still tons of stuff they put out that I really want to buy and just haven't got around to, so I'll be doing that in the future. For sure, and yeah, this one might be one I get, so that's a nice one. Another one that's really cool, they've been upgrading some of their older releases to Blu-ray recently. I think when you think in the past we had stuff like Unico, the double features got upgraded to Blu-ray, and Space Adventure Cobra the movie and Venus Wars both got upgraded to Blu-ray, and now we're getting Goggle 13, the professional, upgraded to Blu-ray, which is really, really awesome. I'm hoping they're going to bring over all the extras that they had before, because they had two commentary tracks. They got a Dezuki commentary track, pretty sure it's Dezuki, and also a Jonathan Clements commentary track as well. So yeah, I hope all that stuff comes over from the DVD. But yeah, really obviously happy for this one. This is a really schlocky film. It's a little bit tasteless, but it's such a classic as well. That's certainly right up my alley, and I'm really, really happy this is coming to Blu-ray. It's a 100% pick up for me. Yeah, it's one of those films that isn't necessarily of the highest standard, but it's the sort of stuff that I really enjoy, and it's really awesome that it's going to come to Blu-ray. So that was a really great announcement from Discotek, and I think this might be the last of the Anime Next panel licenses. But here we got Demon Lord Dante. Or Mauer Dante. This is a series. It's a Go Nagai series from about 2001 or 2 or something, around that range, I think. Notoriously not well liked, I guess, but it's still, you know, more Go Nagai, and we know how much Discotek like Go Nagai, and I'm totally not against them picking this up. I've been curious about this series for quite a while, because I remember seeing the old Genian art box and just thinking, God, what the hell is that? That looks really strange compared to, you know, the standard anime releases we get in English. It just seemed completely out there, and yeah, it's really cool that this is getting a re-release, primarily because the Genian release was censored, and this is going to be uncensored, which is really cool. And yeah, and it'll be in a nice compact release. The Genian release, I think, was 3 or 4 volumes and an art box, and that was the only release it ever got. So I'm pretty sure the series is dubbed, almost 100% certain. Yeah, almost 100%. Yeah, I'm 100% certain it was dubbed, because Genian put it out back in the day. So yeah, Demon Lord Dante coming out in August. So yeah, this is one of those things, as I was saying, but they literally announced the license in June, and it's coming out literally 2 months later. It's coming out at the end of August. It's already been dated for about the 30th of August or something. So yeah, really, really cool news about that one. That's a certain pickup for me. Like I said, it's notoriously not well liked. It's supposed to be quite bad, but yeah, I have an interest in it, and I'll definitely be picking it up eventually. Oh, yeah, no, there's this as well. This is definitely the last one. So, yeah, Starfleet is coming out. This is another quite bizarre pickup. as you can see here, someone's mentioned that the original title is X Bomber in Japan. It's basically a stop motion series, puppet series, kind of the same likeness to any of the Marionation stuff like the Thunderbirds and all that. It's based on the Go Nagai property again, which I had no idea about. This has actually been available in the UK for a long time, dubbed on DVD. I had no idea it was even Japanese. I'll be totally honest, I really had no idea. And Discotek are going to be releasing it. It's going to be dub only at the moment. I think they mentioned somewhere, it might have been at the panel or on social media, on Twitter or something, that they're going to try and get the Japanese, but right now they've only got the rights to the dub. And I think what will actually happen is this will come out as is, like Starfleet, the complete series. It will contain just the English dub, and then maybe further down the line they might manage to release X Bomber, kind of like how they did with Samurai Pizza Cats and Monster Rancher and stuff like that, where they released the dub versions and then eventually the Japanese versions. So I'm hoping they might try and do that with Starfleet. I think I'd rather watch this in Japanese, personally. But yeah, I don't know if I'll pick up the dubbed version necessarily. I might, but again, I don't necessarily get on with old American dubs that were for like kids television and stuff. Like, I feel like the manga OVAs and that sort of stuff is kind of like a different experience. But when it comes to like the classic, dubs for stuff like Robotech and Voltron and Star Blazers and all that, I don't tend to enjoy that experience very often. I find the dubs really, I don't know, just painful to the ears, frankly. Like, they change the soundtracks often. I don't know if they did for Starfleet. It's just not an experience I like. It ends up ruining or tainting the show for me. But anyway, yeah, Starfleet is a really awesome pickup. People were freaking out about that, and I was a little bit confused at first because, like I said, I genuinely didn't realize it was a Japanese production at all. But it's really cool that it's coming out. And again, I'd really like to watch this in Japanese. I imagine online it's probably available in Japanese somewhere, so I might try and see what it's like. But anyway, that's Starfleet. I think from here on we're going to get to the stuff that they were talking about yesterday, right? Yeah, okay. This is the cover they got for Sonic X. As I've mentioned in the past, I have no interest in Sonic X at all. But I do have some information about it that's, as I've been following it, on the fandom post, this release and stuff. This is going to be the English dub version only. If you're not aware, on Hulu you can watch this in Japanese with English subtitles. This Sonic X was, I believe, the first Sonic series that was produced in Japanese language. I don't know if it was originally meant to be in Japanese language first, and then it was dubbed into English, or vice versa. But either way, like, it's the first one that they had it in mind from the outset that this was going to be released in Japanese, because all the other Sonic animations were produced in English. The TV series, I think the Sonic the Hedgehog OVA/movie from the mid-90s probably had original Japanese as well. But yeah, it's coming out in a 52 episode box set with season 3 to come at a later date. But yeah, right now they've only got the English dub. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to get the Japanese. I really don't know why that would be a stumbling block for TMS Entertainment. Like, they seem pretty free spirited with their licenses for the most part. And it's, yeah, when you've got the Japanese version already available on Hulu, like, why do you care about having the DVD version only be English? Like, I find that a bit of a weird thing. But anyway, I really like this cover. As I say over here, it reminds me a lot of the Sonic Mega Drive covers from Asian regions. Another great video game cover. Yeah, so if you don't know, the Sonic the Hedgehog Mega Drive games, like especially for specifically the first game, it looks very much like this, like the Asian, especially the English Asian version of Sonic the Hedgehog has this basically a very similar colour cover. Anyway, moving on. So next up we've got the Street Fighter, the animated series. This is obviously actually an American produced animated series. They announced this about almost 2 years ago, I think. Getting there. Maybe it was last year, but I feel like this one came out in amongst like the Robot Carnival licenses and stuff. I'm pretty sure they announced this one a long time ago. But I'll echo what I say over here, that this is just a delightful cover. I love what they've been doing with these video game themed covers and making the shows look like the old video game boxes, right down to like shelfware and stuff up here. This looks like a sort of like a Famicom box art with the banner at the top with all the information and the nice image down below. It looks really cool. I don't know if I have any real interest in seeing this. I don't know if I ever saw the American version. I remember because my Street Fighter animation experience is pretty much the Street Fighter 2 the movie, and what I assume was Street Fighter V or Victory or whatever the hell it's called. I don't think it was this version of the show, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. But yeah, I'd actually be really interested to see some of this. Not enough to necessarily buy this release blind, but certainly enough that I might even go on YouTube after I'm done recording this video and check some of this stuff out, just to kind of see what it's like. Because obviously this is a Japanese product, but it's being animated in America, produced for Americans. I'd be really curious, especially in the 90s as well, and knowing how bad video games adaptations can be. It could be really interesting. So anyway, there's that. And we also got the cover and release date for Hana Yori Dango, or Boys Over Flowers. We can't really see it under the banner here, but it says complete TV series and the movie. So yeah, the movie is the one unique thing to this set. The rest of it is just obviously the 47 episodes, I think, for the series that Viz Media put out with the dub. I'm not a huge fan of this cover. A lot of people, at least on the fandom post, a couple of people similarly feel the same way as me, that it kind of is trying to hark, whatever the right phrase is, it's kind of masquerading itself closer to the dramas, the live action dramas and that style, rather than the 90s shoujo anime that this actually is. I feel like the Viz Media covers for this are way better. I also don't know how I feel about necessarily them dropping the Boys Over Flowers English translation of the title. It's not a huge deal, obviously, but I don't know, like, to me this is Boys Over Flowers, not necessarily Hana Yori Dango. But again, that's really nitpicking and is really not important. I will be buying this again, but I must say that I'm not a fan of this cover. I think it's way I much prefer the scrapbook looking covers that Viz Media did. It just really felt way more 90s, and this show is incredibly 90s. You watch it, it's not only an over the top melodramatic idiot fury inducing shoujo series that I love to hate and hate to love, but I'm not sure where I was going at, but what? I don't know. But anyway, that's kind of what it is. It's a series that is really good in a weird way. I don't know, I completely lost my train of thoughts. But yeah, that's coming out in October. And also coming out in October is Street Fighter 2, the animated movie on Blu-ray finally. Holy crap, it's just taken so freaking long. But as I say in the corner there, it's been worth the wait, because they are, obviously, as we know, they're including every single version of the English dub. They're also putting a new English dub into it that has the Japanese soundtrack in the background, rather than the Americanized manga entertainment soundtracks or whatever. So yeah, that's a whole new mix. They're also, they're not doing a commentary, which I was sort of disappointed with, but they're actually doing something else. There's a mini documentary on there that's going to be hosted by Mike Toole, that's going to be talking about the problems that this had being released in the past and things like that. It'll probably be like a 10-minute, 8-minute thing, I imagine. I can't imagine it's going to be overly long, but it's cool that they're including something like that, at least a little bit of history about the film, because I feel that this film was just, I don't know, it's something that I remember quite dearly, and I just really like this film, and it's a special film, because it's, I don't know, it just encapsulates a time period that, while I was still quite young, it's something that I still remember nostalgically and fondly. So yeah, like it's again, like, I didn't see this film until I was quite a bit older, until I was about probably like early 2000s, like about 2001. I think it came with like the 25th anniversary of the Street Fighter 2, which I ended up buying on the PS2. So yeah, I didn't see it for a long time, but I knew then when this film came out, and just watching it, you can just, with the music and the style of the whole thing, it's very much of that period. And Street Fighter 2 was like the biggest thing going in that period. I was, I didn't play in arcades because arcades weren't really a thing in the UK, because I was still too young. I wasn't a teenager at the time. I was only about 8 or 9. But Street Fighter 2 is something I remember playing on the Super Nintendo like crazy. Like everyone had this game. Like Street Fighter is something that it ended up not being my favorite fighting game franchise. I much prefer Tekken in terms of actually playing these games, but Street Fighter is something that it's one of the like marquee things from the 90s for me. Like there's certain, you can put a couple of things, like 10 or so things on the pedestal and say this was the 90s, and I feel like in terms of video games, you could say stuff like maybe like PlayStation if you really want to go that way. But for me, if you're going to put one video game thing on a pedestal that kind of just like speaks for the 90s and everything about it, to me it's Street Fighter 2. You just put that game on the pedestal and go, this is Street Fighter 2, look into this game, learn about this game, and you will learn everything you need to know about the 90s for the video games and stuff. So yeah, I don't really know why I'm talking about it in this way. This is coming out in October. I'm really looking forward to it. Okay, moving on. We've got Koi Koi 7. This is a really bizarre pickup, but something that I'll explain, because this might seem like the most random thing imaginable. As I kind of already put in the comments there, you can see I wrote, I assume this is part of a license bundle, as this is pretty obscure. And to some extent it kind of probably was. Basically, Discotek recently have been dealing with a Japanese licensor called Inoki Films. Some of you probably who are watching this video know a lot more about them than I do, but yeah, they're just a handler of a lot of Japanese anime. And this is just one of the series that happens to be on their English language page for titles that they're have there available to license for English companies. And Discotek have been doing a lot of stuff with them recently. They announced Koi Koi 7, but they've put out stuff like 8 Man After, for example. And I'm completely blanking on like the 3 or 4 other things they've put out by them. I think Flame of Recca might have been one as well. I'm completely blanking, but yeah, basically Discotek and Inoki Films have been like in partnership, I guess, to some extent for quite a while. Discotek have been going back to the Inoki film well and getting out title after title, and this just happens to be another one they picked up. It's from about 2004, 3 or something. It's a ecchi comedy harem, like not as necessarily a great series from what I'm aware, but hey, they've picked it up, and I know that at least one guy on the fandom post was very happy to see this get picked up. So yeah, as I put in that comment on the fandom post, actually, it's basically no matter how obscure and strange a title license might be, just that there'll be at least someone out there who is overjoyed that this has got licensed. So yeah, this one was originally, I was like, this is actually an anime I've never heard of, and that doesn't actually happen to me very often anymore. Like, to be honest, like I've learned, but just through like Anime Planet and stuff, like I've kind of just learned most of the anime that's ever existed, and I might not necessarily immediately recognize what something is, but most of the time I do. Like, honestly, most of the time I'll be able to tell the time period it came out and what sort of show it is. But yeah, this one I honestly completely blanked on. I had no idea what it was. But anyway, yes, that's Koi Koi 7. I don't have particularly interest in that, but it's coming out sub only. It's about 12 episodes. This one is pretty cool though. Tekman Blade 2 is coming out. This is on Blu-ray. This is the 6-episode OVA sequel to the original Tekman Blade that Discotek put out on DVD. Tekman Blade, the TV series, which is a sort of a remake of the original Tekman from the 70s. Tekman Blade was a TV series from 1993 that Media Blasters put out. I would be shocked and amazed if they still have that license. I'm pretty sure they don't. It's like a 47, 43 episode series or something, but it's been put out on a Blu-ray box in Japan, and part of that Blu-ray box also included Tekman Blade 2, which Discotek have now confirmed they're going to be putting out. I really hope that the fact that Tekkaman Blade 2 must have done just about well enough that they're like, hey, we'll re-release it on Blu-ray. So I'm really hoping that they might be able to license the TV series at some point as well and put that on Blu-ray. That'd be really cool. But yeah, this is a nice pickup. Really awesome to get more old school anime on Blu-ray. Certainly a treat every single time. It's coming out really soon as well, September 27th, so in a couple of months. Okay, and this is another new license. This might be the last one, I think. Goku Doe, the complete TV series. This is like a fantasy action series from the 90s, I'm pretty sure. Originally put out by Media Blasters, and as I say here again, the Media Blasters collection release has been hard to get for ages, which it has. Like the volumes, I think, are relatively cheap, if not extremely cheap, but the actual complete collection release for the show, which is a 2-core series, about 26 episodes, is really expensive. Like it goes anywhere between $50 and $150. And it also comes in a really fat, ugly alpha pack, like those really giant ones that were totally unnecessary. It comes in one of those sets, and yeah, basically, I tried to buy the series last year. I was in an auction on eBay bidding for it, and I got outbid, and now I'm glad I did, because now I can get it in a cheaper packaging. I'm not a fan of the cover that Discotek have here. The background sucks, but again, like if it doesn't really matter. Like if we end up getting the complete series, and we will be getting the complete series relatively soon as well, in a couple of months, then that's all that really matters. And I think that's everything, isn't it? Yes, so that's everything. The only other thing they've got here, we plan to announce some new licenses at the Discotek Media panel at Otakon in August. We also have more news on Magic Ray Earth and Lupin the second series. So yeah, Discotek are actually at this point now where they don't have a lot of stuff, as I was saying. Like they have, about 15 or so titles, but without a release date, if not less than that. I think it might be even considerably less than that even. Like they've been announcing stuff and just releasing it within a couple of months recently. A lot of surprise announcements like Goku Doe and stuff like that, and like Koi Koi 7 as well, which are both coming out really, really soon. So yeah, I expect to hear about more stuff like that from Otakon. They did the panel at Otakon last year, so I was really hoping they do one this year. And they are. Otakon's in like the second week of August. It's the last one they're doing at Baltimore in Maryland, before it moves to Washington. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I hope they announce some really good stuff, because Justin Savakis, a guy that tends to do a lot of the Blu-ray and DVD authoring for Discotek, he's doing Skip Beat and stuff for Pied Piper as well. He's one of the more preferred Blu-ray and DVD authors in America for anime. Anyway, he mentioned that he was talking about how Discotek had a bunch of stuff and how a lot of it was potentially on Blu-ray, and he was really excited about one of the things they have. I don't know if they've announced what that is yet, because he hasn't come out and like said this was the thing I was specifically talking about. He was like full on going, this is a pant wetter. Like piss your pants excited he was that he was working on this. And obviously that might be just because it's really personal to him and it might not be a huge license to the rest of us, but to him it's like huge, because we all have our personal, holy grail licenses, and it might have been something like that. But even so, like, they apparently have a bunch of stuff still to announce, like a good 5 or 6 classic, pre-2000s, like anything from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, stuff like that to announce yet. And that's really, really exciting to me. I'm really looking forward to it. There's so many things I could say that they might have. The only thing I will definitely say is probably something TMS related, TMS Entertainment, because a lot of stuff, classic stuff that Discotek have been picking up is primarily TMS Entertainment. One thing I'm really hoping is Inoki Films on that English website actually have the J9 trilogy, which is a mecha series. 3 mecha series from the 90s that were sort of, well, they weren't based in the same universe or anything like that, or like chronological. I think it was just like a J9 project, basically just a bunch of people getting together to work on a bunch of series and toys probably as well. But yeah, that was like Bazinga, Braiga, I think I can't remember the names. All I remember is the Sasuraiga is one of them as well. So I really hope that those might be free pickups that they're going to be bringing over. That'd be really awesome. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking because I've been talking for ages. So yeah, that's the Discotek stuff that was announced Anime Next and yesterday. And I'll obviously be doing a video reacting to the announcements they make at Otakon. And Right Stuff are going to be at Otakon as well, so yeah, I'll try and do some reactions to Otakon. If you're wondering where my Anime Expo reaction announcement video, whatever video is, basically I filmed it. I wasn't really it was really long, and I wasn't really that happy with it, and I just haven't done it again. Basically Anime Expo was sort of a, I don't know, it was sort of a, just nothing major was really announced outside of the Crunchyroll stuff. I might still do a video. I think I probably will still do a video, so you can probably expect that sometime this week for those who really want to know how I feel about the Crunchyroll deal, because I have some thoughts about it. But primarily that Anime Expo was a bit of, I can't think of the right freaking word right now, it's driving me crazy, but yeah, it just wasn't really very good. Like for example, Funimation, Viz and Sentai announced next to nothing. Really, like Sentai and Viz literally announced nothing in terms of anime, like new stuff, and the only new thing that Funimation had was a series that's coming out in the fall called Drifters, which looks cool, but again, like, that was it. That was the only new license they had, so it was a bit of a, as I keep saying, I can't think of the right word and it's driving me crazy, but it just didn't work. That wasn't a very good show for me, and that kind of killed my enthusiasm for doing a reaction video, but I'll try and do one soon. I'm going to stop this video because it's endlessly long now, so needlessly long. So yeah, I'm Blaze, thanks for listening. I'm going to go and rest my voice, and I'll see you next time.